Well, things are escalating and I don't like it. This is not cool. We're going to get to all the keyboard lawyers here in a minute. Um, we're going to talk about this Fender thing a little bit more in a minute. Apparently there's a lot of uh, law experts, lawyers, law students, maybe, I don't know, in the comments section. So we're gonna talk about them in a minute. But first, take a sip of my coffee again, and we're going to talk about the apparent physicists in the comments section as well, because I feel like I struck a nerve yesterday with the Gibson versus Epiphone situation. Um, you try to talk about a good guitar and you try to do the right thing and make a video and be like, hey, I forgot a specification, thanks for bringing it up. Which is really good. I'm glad that you guys did that, because it's a big thing, that whole where the pickups are placed deal. So we're gonna talk about that for a second, and here's what I'm gonna tell you. There was a lot of folks who basically disputed that. It's kind of funny that there's kind of two main questions here with the Epiphone thing. One is, well, first of all, here, hang on. Sorry. Published newest filter. Sorry, I should have done this before. Okay, there we go. And I don't edit these things. So, I bet that if anybody in a blind test couldn't tell the difference between the Gibson and the Epiphone, any normal person, I disagree. You can totally tell when you move a pickup. You might not be able to tell. A lot of people might not be able to tell. But it's a thing. How is the neck pickup in a different place? Same scale length, which it's not actually. It's a little different. Same number of frets, and both guitars, the pickups appear to be flush with the neck. There was a bunch of people, okay, who saw the video, even though I put an insert in there and said, hey, you're not going to be able to see this the same way, not in person. Like, you have to measure it. The camera lens makes it look funny. It just does. Who disputed the measurements. We'll get to that in a second. Pretty funny. Seems like you've been wrong a lot lately. Clickbait? No, actually. And if you think I've been wrong about something, please tell me, and I will do a video like this. I have no problem with that. Now, if you disagree with something that I say, I'm not wrong. If you say I'm wrong, I want to see receipts. And if it's true, I will definitely make a video, because I don't want to spread misinformation about this stuff. That's not good. You don't want to do that. You want to maintain credibility with people. And, if somebody says, well, you're wrong about tone wood, you're wrong about blah, 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 whatever, I don't know, any kind of thing that everybody's super passionate about, that's different, right? But if you say that I'm wrong about, for example, hey, dude, you missed this measurement and it's kind of important, we need to talk about it. I'm willing to do that. So please, please tell me about that. Would have been cool if you played both. We did that in a previous video. I thought the point of the last video was that much less expensive Epiphone is going to be just as good at, or maybe better than, a Gibson for many, many players, given the cost difference, etc. No, I never say that. I never say that an Epiphone is going to be just as good as a Gibson, because they are not the same guitar. They are at different price points. They have different investments of time, different investments of materials. A Gibson is more expensive to make. Is it better for you? It might not be. It might not be the good purchase for you. but that doesn't make the Epiphone better, ever. Ever. Is there better or worse? Why are we comparing them? They're different guitars. So why are we comparing them? Why are we comparing them? Makes no sense. Let's see. And then, okay. This dude did not hold that ruler anywhere at all near the same place on the second guitar that he did on the first. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Okay, I did address this in the video, obviously, because I knew that there was going to be a genius in the comments who was going to say this, even though I said that even. So I'll just ask you a question. On something as easily verifiable with any tape measure, why would I intentionally lie to you when you can go to your Epiphone, although this guy's probably more of a Firefly guy, why would you you'd be able to go to your own Epiphone? Oh, I know why, because you don't have a Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul to compare it with. That's why. Dude, calm down. It's okay. It doesn't make your guitar worse. It doesn't make your guitar worse. It's just a difference that needed to be pointed out between two guitars. Okay? So just calm down about that stuff. People are so funny. It's like, am I literally... Yeah, I'm going to just intentionally lie about something that can be so easily verified. It makes no sense. This man is obsessed. No, not really. I'll tell you something right now. I am not as nerdy about this stuff as I always say. I'm not a guitar nerd. I just play one on TV. And it's not that I am fake about it, because I actually really love nerding out about stuff. But when it comes to me and my own life, I care about other things. Like I care, you've heard me talk about this. I care about the passion of everything. I care about the, like, you know what I mean? The art of it more than anything. So speaking of art, let's discuss this Fender thing. I don't want to go too long on this other deal. So here's the situation. I just read an article. Somebody just pointed out to me, hey, this video aged badly because they're sending stuff to people in America. So it appears that LSL has gotten one of these. That's a brand that I have played. I've played a couple of their guitars that are very, very nice. If this has happened to you, I would like to hear about it. And you can do two things. You can shoot me an email or a chat on the website, and because this affects me too. So if this has happened to you, please send me an email at Dylan@DylanPickups.com, or send me a chat on the website. Somehow get in touch with me. I would really, really, really like to talk to you about this. And because this is not cool, man. I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand about it. I don't understand, because I'm not a lawyer, right? Apparently there's a bunch in the comments. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't understand what they're going to stand this on, because Fender does not hold a trademark. Now, it might be something about the peg head, but I think LSL's peg head is fine. If it's body shape, I don't understand that they have a leg to stand on. Before we get into the lawyers in the comments, let's explain three things, okay? Copyright law has to do with the protection of art, okay? So if you write something, if you paint something, if you print something, and it has to do, it could be written, it could be drawn, it could be painted, it could be, right? But that is the protection of art. All right. Trademark law is the marks. Okay. So DylanTalksTone logo. It could be a color like UPS brown. So no other shipping company. You can't have a monopoly on the color. People think that, but you can't. But no other company can be the purple and orange in a shipping company of FedEx. Nobody other can be the brown of UPS, for example. So you can the orange of Home Depot. No other hardware company hardware store can be orange in the same industry. Okay, that's how trademarks work. Patents, there's a bunch of different things, but that has to do with basically the functionality, the utility. There's a few different categories. That has to do with the utility of a product. So as it applies to a guitar, that would be something like the PAF. So the PAF pickup, that design was patented. Well, it was patented, but it only lasted for 20 years, and then people could copy it. Lots of things. What that does is that protects the original creator of the functional item from somebody else stealing their idea, and so that they can make the most amount of money from their own idea for the first 20 years. And then after that, it expires, and then everybody can do it. Spyderco just had a lock on a knife that just expired. Glock handguns, the patents on the Glock, 17 and 19, expired like 4 or 5 years ago. And so now everybody's making copies of them. But it allowed Glock, it allowed Spyderco, it allows Gibson with the PAF time to establish themselves as a brand and be successful before anybody steals that idea. So you have patents, you have trademarks, and you have copyrights. There are 3 completely different laws. Okay. And then on top of that, so that has to do with all of that side. But then there's also all the laws surrounding protecting the consumer, like from monopolies and stuff. That's a whole nother side. So what we're talking about in Europe, and I don't understand European law. Okay, so I'm not an expert on this, but what I do know is that what they did is it's based on copyright. They tried to say that the Stratocaster was a form of art that should be protected, which lasts 95 years, not 20. Trademarks can be indefinitely defended. However, Fender did not, and so they won that. They lost that trademark in the United States in 2009 or something. So bringing this back to the United States, I don't know what that's gonna stand on, because obviously it's not a patent, unless somebody in the United States will use the precedent that they set in Europe, which isn't a very strong precedent. It just means that the Chinese company didn't show up. So I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is this is not good. This is really not good. This, if it comes to the United States and it is enforceable, I can tell you right now that there's a lot of lawyers working on this to make sure that it's not. Like I said, I just don't understand it. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay. Nobody, I can probably speak for all of us when I say, there's a bunch of people in here that are like, I support Fender defending their IP. I do too. I think it's really important to defend your IP, your intellectual property. But I think most of us, there's a lot of people accusing me of siding with Fender. No. I think most of us, if not all of us, would say that we want it to be defended. We don't want people stealing our ideas. Nobody wants their ideas stolen. However, when it crosses over into a point where a company is trying to gain a monopoly, Phil made this point the other day, then you're also talking about, as a consumer, that affecting your life. Not to mention everybody who could lose their jobs. That's a whole nother issue. This is a big deal, man. In the guitar industry, this is a big deal. It has happened in other industries, but this is the one I know the most about. And let me tell you, this is a big one. People said, I'll be on the lookout for DylanTalksTone knockoff pickups. And somebody said, well, what if it comes to the point where you can't make pickups? That won't happen, because there's no law. We're not, because all you do is make copies of pickups. Okay, so here's the thing. There's also replacement parts, right? Let me ask you a question. If you went to change oil in your car and your oil filter was not a standard oil filter, and every time you went to change your oil, you had to figure out a way to adapt your oil filter to your car, would you like that? I don't think so. That's what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about, we make a replacement part. We don't rip off anybody. And I'm talking about all pickup companies, not just me. These things are really, this is obviously, it's really complicated stuff. And I know that there's a lot of experts in the comments, but I think what we're going to have to do is literally, there's going to be two things that I think that we should do. This is my suggestion, okay? And you can not do it, but this is my suggestion. I would definitely, first of all, let it play out. I would voice your opinion, but be careful, because like yesterday, the news is different today, right? Now it's in America. Now it's different for us who live here. It might not be different for somebody who lives in Europe, but we live here, so it affects us now differently. It affected us when it happened to you, but now it affects us because it's happening to us. So I would definitely voice your opinion. I would not shut up about this. This is one thing I would never, ever shut up about it. I think you should talk about it everywhere in all comment sections. However, keep it civil. This is something that people, this could affect us for a long time. So I think if we present ourselves as folks who are trying to be reasonable, being like, hey, we just don't want this to happen to us as consumers, right? Who cares what the law is? We're not lawyers. We don't know what the law is. We just don't want this to happen to us as consumers. That I think that we should all do that. It's really, really, really important. And then the other thing, to be honest with you, is make your stand with your wallet. Make your stand with your wallet. I'm going to buy a Schecter today. I wanted to buy another Strat for another project, but I'm going to buy a Schecter today instead. Because it's not a Fender owned company. So I have a Schecter, but I have become a Schecter fan as of today. Because I think I'm going to buy a PRS too. I just feel like this is not cool. I love Fender. I love them. Most of us do, but this is not cool. So, support who you're going to support with your wallet, because that is what this is all about ultimately. Don't talk about it on the internet in a way that is hateful, because that doesn't help anything. But support who you're going to support with your wallet. This freaking sucks.